crank it up, always have you an empty bucket to spray into. Because every time, you know, when you pull that suction hose out, it's gonna put air in the system.
Right.
And you don't, it'll start spraying paint because it has paint already in the hose. So you don't want to be out there painting a line and all of a sudden start going and start putting spider web all over the ground. Because that's something you got to black out now. So just make sure, hold it in a bucket. And what I always do to make it faster, pull the tip out and just stick your finger over the hole and hit it. And when less than 45 seconds, you done got the air out of the system. You leave the tip in it, it's going to take you a minute and a half because it's a smaller orifice. Okay. Got the Graco 3900 there, base machine. The whole thing about striping is two: confidence and hand-eye coordination. Okay, so today when we stripe, we're gonna stripe with water. I think she said that had water in it, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna simulate like this is our chalk line, the joints, and I'm gonna teach you how to spray and where to start. Okay, because when you go down in a parking lot, you look. All them lines need to look even across the end. And you'll see some people, they'll be 3 inches out, 2 inches in, and it looks like an accordion snake going down through there. Well, you know, some people get by with that, but I mean, the people I work for, and I'm sure the people y'all work for, are not gonna have that. And it's really, really hard to go out there and spray that little 3 inch, you know, and everything. Because what happens is when you hit that trigger, you put that blast of paint because you're not moving that fast. And as you get to walking, that paint will kind of thin out on the line. So you try to hit that 3 inch, man, it'll be a wad of paint and a good looking line. So some people go out there and they'll put shingles at the end of the line, okay? It's great if you want to do that or whatever, but you know, if you're in a big parking lot and you got 250 lines, I don't want to bend over 250 times to pick a shingle up and go move it. So force yourself to have that confidence, and I'll show you today. You get up there and just practice. You know, you ain't got to pull the trigger, but when you get to that line, just kind of do your hand on there, and that way you'll know a starting point. Another thing that will help you, and I can talk to Kimberly, I'm sure she'll buy it for you, is they make a little, what they call a laser dot. The laser dot mounts right here on the front of this gun, and you point, and that green dot's on the ground. So it gives you a visualization where it's at. So that gives you a little bit better, easier, because when you're sitting, you know, y'all got walking machines, but if you take that machine with the line driver, I'm sitting back about 5 foot from that gun. Yeah. So it's repetition and learning and everything. But if you get to striping, you'll want one of them riders. Because, you know, you walking, you know, pouring concrete. In the morning, you're fresh and everything. Come 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, man, you're hot, your legs are tired. Well, if you're walking, you walk 18 foot here, back 18, another 18, and at the end of the day, you don't walk 3 miles and you're in just a 50 space parking lot. So that's something down the road. But yeah, I'll talk to her and get you a laser. That's a real big confidence booster, because you see that dot on the ground, and you know where, and you line it up wherever that dot is where that paint is going to hit the ground instantly. And so that and pressure, it has a potentiometer on there, okay? Whenever you're spraying into a bucket, changing paint, whatever, always turn that pressure down to about 300, okay? Reason being, you spray in that bucket and it's on 1600 PSI, it's gonna make you look like the snowman. It's gonna splatter back on you, you know what I'm saying? So turn the pressure down, that way it's so hard to handle. And when you're striping, you'll learn what pressure you wanna do, okay? Just look at your line. So predominantly, y'all probably gonna be doing new asphalt, okay? You know, new asphalt will suck that paint up, all right? So putting paints down, some companies will say, I want 2 coats. Some don't say. So kind of a happy medium is I used a little larger tip, but I was riding. I put more paint down on the ground and I dial my pressure to where it looked as thick as 2 coats. Okay? And that way it didn't get as much absorption into the asphalt. But that's a trial and error. You get out there and play with it. And I told Kimberly that we can do everything with water. Water's not going to really reflect what paint is, but go to your shop, get you a bucket of paint, we'll put it in there, get a roll of roofing felt, lay it out on the ground, and then make you some marks and everything and learn to put some paint in it, okay? Today, I can teach you the basics of the machine and how to stripe on a line and everything like that, and it's going to represent the same thing, but with paint, you're gonna see something on the ground that you can't remove unless it's a grinder or a pressure washer. Okay, so the roofing theft, get through with it, throw it in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Easy thing to practice on. Or if there's an old abandoned parking lot, you can go with that. But the one thing to remember about a paint machine, that gun is fixed on the front. Okay, you go down, that line's gonna get narrow. You go up a hill, that line's gonna widen out. So just make sure you're on good flat asphalt. The other thing is, blow that parking lot off. You won't realize it, but you're pushing along there and you're looking at that gun, and there's a rock that big, that front tire hits it, it'll kick it sideways, and all of a sudden that line does that right there. So blow it off. Be, you know, as you stripe. When I stripe, I don't even watch the gun. I'm watching the head of it and everything, and that's the good thing to do, because I mean, that's like if you've ever farmed and you're plowing crops. You don't sit there and watch behind you, because you'll plow everything up. You pick you a row and you drive straight to that row. Same thing when you're striping. When you start striping, you hit your line, and that way you're watching. You kind of at the gun. You're at about 1 o'clock. You're watching the gun with your peripheral, and you're looking to see where you're going in, because you don't want your tire to run off the edge of the pavement or run into the curb, bang your gun into it, or whatever. Those things. So it's all just, the more you use it, the better off it'll be.